Hey there, we are on lesson 24 and we're starting. This is topic D in this module that is like the longest module ever. Actually, I think module 4 is long too. But anyway, topic D, percent. And percent means out of 100. So just so that you know that's, if you think about that, then that helps you understand. So out of 100. So when you ask about like, what's the percent you got on whatever test? Oh, it was 85%. That's 85 out of 100, even if there's only 8 questions. Maybe you got partial credit on something. But anyway, so imagine that you are shopping, and you see something that normally costs $100, but today they tell you that there's 20% off. Well, what is that actually meaning? So if you take $100 and you're, let me just do a little drawing up here, even though this doesn't have to do with our exercise one, but if we say that something is costing or costs this whole thing costs $100, right? And we're saying that $20 out of every $100 is going to be subtracted from the total. Then we're going to, let's just say we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each of those little parts is worth $10, and 2 of those sections, if I come in here and grab another color, 2 of those sections, so there's saving $10, $20 when we say, oh, there was a 20% sale, okay? So that's pretty decent. Anyway, just so that you know, when you're hearing about a sale and you're saving a certain amount, that is also percent off of something. Okay, and so below, we're looking at this grid that is a 10 by 10, and 10 by 10 means there is 100 of those little grids in there. So we're going to take a look at the story. Says Robin's fruit farm consists of 100 acres, so each of these is representing an acre, of 3 different types of apples. That reminds me of Eastern Washington because they have lots of apple orchards. We have apples here too, but anyway, on 25 acres, the farm grows Empire apples, so a particular brand. Macintosh apples grow on 30% of the farm, and the remainder, they have Fuji apples. I love apples. Shade in the grid below to represent the portion of the farm each type of apple occupies. Okay, I use a different color for each type of apple. So if let's say I have a green, so we'll go with what did they say with the Empire and 25 acres? So I'm going to go with green here, and we're going to go, it says part to whole. The whole thing is 100, and they told me that the part is 25. So I would shade in. So this is not a nice job of shading, but that is 10. And then here's 20, right? And then they said 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I would stop. Okay, then they told me Macintosh is 30%, so I'll go in here and change this to like a purpley color, purpley pink. Okay, and they said that was 30%, so I'm going to mark that as 30 out of 100, because remember, percent is out of 100. So 30, I'm gonna do this 5, and then here's a 10, so there's 15, and here's another 10. So there I have 10, 25. I need another 5. Okay, So those two parts make 10, 20, 30. Then it says I'll choose another color because maybe I'll go with a black here. They tell me Fuji was, oh, they say the remainder. Oh, well, if I know that it's going to be out of 100, so then I'm just going to count. There's 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 45. And those should all add up. 5 and 5 is 10. 4 and 3 is 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it adds up. So my numbers work. I always kind of double check just in case I made a mistake or an error, which just have to check myself. Okay, let's go to the next problem, which says exercise 2. The shaded portion of the grid below. Now, we're just looking at something that's already shaded. Represents a portion of a granola bar remaining. What percent does each block of the granola bar? So what does that represent? That is 1% of the granola bar. Okay, got it. Then it says what percent of the granola bar remains? Because they're saying the shaded part is what's remaining. So this part is gone. This is gone. We just ate that part. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. 80% of the granola bar remains. Now, what other ways can we represent that percent? Well, I know 80%. This is the easiest one for me to write. 80% is 80 out of 100. But I could also write that as, if I divide both top and bottom by 10, I get 8 out of 10. So that's like reduced. And I could also reduce that, divide top and bottom by 2. I get 4/5, right? Then I could multiply top and bottom by 4, and I get 16/20. I mean, so there's lots of different ways. It doesn't say how many, but I've done quite a few. I could also represent it as 8/10 as a decimal, but we can move into that more. Okay, let's go next page, and it's looking like, I know this is a little bit small. I can enlarge that a little bit. So exercise 3 says, we are, for each figure, represent the gray. There's a couple different shades. It's hard to see. There's a gray and there's a really dark, and then some of it's white. So for A, I see, and I know it's underneath the letters, but this is the part that's shaded right here. And so that is 10, 20. 20% is shaded. I'll just say it's shaded. In that one, there's just 2 shades. Then the rest. And then write your answer as a decimal, fraction, percent. I just wrote a percent. So a fraction would be 20/100. Now I just need to do a decimal. So a decimal is 20 out of 100, or 2/10 can also look like that. Or I can also write 20/100. Okay? So I've got those 3 there. Now let's look at B. So B, I've got 2 different shaded parts, but that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So I could talk about the darkest shade. I could say, 25 hundredths, or 25%. Or, you know what else I could do? I could put these 2 together and say that it is 50 hundredths, or 50%, which is half, or 50 over 100. So if you want to focus on just one of these shades of gray, or you go with both, totally up to you. There's a light gray, a darker gray, and then the white. Okay, on C, oh, that's a fun design. So now I have to count. Let's see. I'm going to count how many. I know that this is 10. Let me get my pen going. I know this is 10. I know this is 10. I'm looking across the row. 10, 10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So all those in between, I have 28. That's an 8. So 28, 38, 48. So I have 48 little units are shaded gray. So that is 48 hundredths, or 48 hundredths. I'm not reducing these at all. Or 48%. Oh my gosh. Okay, we can totally do this. Then it says on B, what ratio is being modeled in each picture? It said ratio. So now I'm going to go A, B, and C. My ratio for A is 20 out of 10. So that's part to whole. Whole is the whole thing. B is 20. Well, depends if I can go 25 if I'm just choosing one of the shades of gray, or you could go with a 50 to 100. And on C, there we've got 48 out of 100. How are the ratios and percentages? The ratios and percentages related? Well, 20 out of 100, and I go, so 20 out of 100 is equivalent to 20% of the 100, because remember, percent means out of 100, 20 out of 100. It says basically the same thing. Okay, let's look at this next page. We got another table, and that's kind of small, so I'll enlarge it just a little bit. Each relationship below compares a shaded portion to the entire figure, the whole thing. Okay, complete this table. So if we have 6%, I'll choose a different color. If we have 6%, that is, be careful with this one because we don't want to have 60%. It's got a 0 and a 0 and a 6. Be careful on that one. The fraction is 6 out of 100, and the ratio is 6 to 100. If we modeled this, I don't know if I want to do this every single time, but anyway, if we had, let's see, if I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then I'd have to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not my best work, but that's okay. And then I go in and I'm in a color. In this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all I get. You know, it's like pennies in a dollar, 6 pennies. Okay, now we're going to go over to 60. Okay, 60%. This is back to kind of what we were working on. I can either write this, or I could also add a 0, but the 6 is in the tens place. And so that is 60 over 100, 60 out of 100, or you could write 6 out of 10. It's okay. My ratio, though, I'll include the 60 and the 100. And so for this one, if I had, let's say this is my unit of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are not all equal. But anyway, then I would go in and I would shade. Each of these is worth 10, let's say. So I would shade 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and this is 60. That's what I would tell you. So I'm not going to do the 60 units in a 100 chart. Okay, here, oh my gosh, 600. The decimals like that. And then we've got 600 out of 100, which is actually equal to 6 over 1. And our ratio, I'm going to write 6 to 1, but you could have 600 to 100. And then I would have, so it would really be like this, only 6 of those grids. So imagine there's one of your grids. There's another 100. There's another 100. Another 100. Another and another. Wow. So if one of these represented a dollar bill, I would have had $6 bills here. There's 6 whole grids there. Okay, now we get down to 32%. So 32% is written as a decimal, 32 hundredths. We write it as 32 hundredths, and our ratio is 32 out of 100. So then what I would do is I would 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I would come in a little different color, and I'm going to do, here's 10, 20, 30, and 1 and 2. There's my 32. Okay. I think there is still more to do on the next page. We have, now we get to write the percent. So I'm going to write 55%. The fraction is 55 out of 100. Ratio 55 out of 100. If you wanted to reduce that to 5, says 5 times 11 is 55. So I could take out a 5 and get 11, take out a 5 and I get 20. So you could do that if you wanted. Okay, so here's their model. Let's see. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. No, or am I counting? Oh, I know what they did is they divided by 5, and I get 11 and to 20. So this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. That is 10 and that's 11. So that's the 11 out of a total of 20. Okay, that's good. That works. And then 9 out of 10, the fraction, I'm going to go 9 to 10. And this 9/10 looks like that as a decimal. And so 9/10, 9 out of 10 is actually 90%, like on a quiz or something. Okay, so here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is 9 out of 10. Here, okay, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. That would be 7/10 and 70%. Okay. Here we're looking at exercise 5. Mr. Brown shares with the class that 70% of the students got an A. 70% of the students got an A on the English vocab quiz. If Mr. Brown has 100 students, create a model to show how many of the students received an A on the quiz. So they just said 70% equals 70 out of 100, which is, if I reduce that by 10, 7/10. And so then if I drew right over here a model, I could draw this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I went too big there. Okay, and then it says, so I'm going to shade in just 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's our 70%. So we got our model, and then we also did our percent, our ratio. Yeah, we got it. It'd be 7 to 10 is the ratio. Okay. What fraction of the students received an A on the quiz? So what fraction? We just wrote that. 7 over 10 is our 7, or 70, 100. So we could do that too. How can we represent that as a decimal? Well, 0.7. Or you could also write like that. So 7/10 are 70 hundredths. How are the decimal and the fraction and the percent all related? They all show 70 out of 100. All of them. Okay, let's go to exercise 6. We're getting so close. So this says Marty owns a lawn mowing services company. He's got 3 employees and has 100 lawns to mow this week. Using a 10 by 10, show how the work could be distributed between the 3 employees. So employee 1, so maybe it's not all fair. So we'll do purple first. Purple. Let's go 30%. You can decide what you want to do. So 30% is going to be 30 over 100, and that is 3/10 or 30 hundredths. So then I'm going to color 10, 20, 30. Okay, got it. Now I'm going to go to another color, and this is going to be green. Should we do, how about this one? He needs or she needs a little bit less work this week because they've got another job. So I'm going to do 20 over 100 or 20 hundredths, and then I'm going to color. Here's 110, and here's another for 20 out of 100. So then this next person has to do a bit more. 30, 40, 50. Oh my gosh. This one, we've got black, 50. They are doing half of the jobs. So that's 50 out of 100 or 50 hundredths. So I would color, here's 10, 20, 30, 40. If I had colored pencils, that would be so nice. That would be better than what I'm doing. Okay. Color over the name of the same color you used. Okay, we did it. We're good on that. So then let's see. I think we're done with the classwork. So fantastic job on working with your percentages, your ratios, your decimals. Yay.